When you have a family member that passes away, you try to find structure in trying to heal. And one way that Teresa Strasser did that was on the baseball field with her father. And her new book, Making It Home, talks about coming together during Little League baseball. And I think this is an important book, Teresa, for a lot of people who are going through mourning, who are trying to reconnect with family members. Let's talk a little bit of the background of the book and how it all came about.
Well, Making It Home is about one single season of Little League, 16 games that I spent with my dad after my brother died. He died of cancer at 47. And my dad and I then got way too into Little League. Like, you know those weirdo sports parents and you're kind of embarrassed for them?
Yeah.
We were not them. We were 10 times worse than anything you've ever seen in your life. We lived and died by every pitch. We would text each other all night about the lineup, you know, who should be pitching, who shouldn't be. My dad would talk smack about little kids. He'd sit there and we'd be in our Costco beach chairs and he'd go, T, that kid couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But this was how we got through our tough times. We focused and we channeled all of our sorrow into Little League.
That's amazing. Were you ever asked to leave any of the games?
Oh, no.
were you guys ever asked to leave?
I mastered the art of side talking to my dad, like, what's with that kid's changeup?
Oh my gosh.
What's going on? Why is that kid in the 3 spot?
Yeah. So, all right. So, with you bonding with your dad with baseball, how did it help you guys deal with, of course, the loss of not just your brother, but also you lost your mother too?
Yeah, she died 4 months to the day after my brother, and she hadn't even been sick. I think she just died of a broken heart. So it was just me and my broken down old trailer park dad getting out our beach chairs. There's something about baseball, and I don't want to get too mystical about it, but I know you're a fan. I know you're a fan.
We're fans.
Would listen to games with his grandma and grandpa. It's a great story. In the dark on the radio. You know, baseball doesn't have a clock. And that gives it this romantic, mystical quality because mathematically speaking, a game of baseball could go on forever. So your team it's never impossible to make a comeback. And I think that this story transcends baseball, but it couldn't have happened without baseball because baseball is a sport with hope baked into it. Until you're down to your last out, you could still come back. And when you're grieving, you need hope.
Yeah. And that's, I think, something that is so relatable about the book is that we were talking about this earlier. Grief is something that if you haven't experienced it, you probably will. This is something that's so relatable for everybody, as is the game of baseball. How many of us grew up playing, grew up going to games with our dads? That's why this has made such a big impact, because this really has those roots that people can really attach to.
Well, thank you for saying that. And do people know what gender of your baby, or am I spilling beans?
No, yeah, everybody knows. It's a boy. It's a boy.
So one day, he's going to be out. Do you know his name? Is that
Arlo.
a secret?
No,
I love that name. Like Arlo Guthrie. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Arlo's Bradley Guthrie.
Well, yes. Okay.
One day. My name in there. She doesn't know
one
that
day,
yet, so.
Arlo Bradley.
Oh my gosh,
is going to be out there.
Put that into the world.
The day that you see him with like trying on his first mitt at T-ball with his big bat and his big helmet. Like you're never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
We're still friends with people who were on my son's team when he was 5.
Yeah, so that's something we also have to bring up too, is that your dad and you just didn't go to any Little League baseball game. I don't think we said that, but you went to,
Yes.
That'd be great. You guys just went out and said any Little League baseball game.
Well, you
Your
know,
kids' baseball games, yeah.
My 9-year-old, it was the first year, this was obviously my dad's grandson, and my brother was a lefty. He was a great baseball player. My son's a lefty, great baseball player. They were both born on the same day. So it was almost like this season watching my baby Nate, who's now 5'10", it was almost like it resurrected a version of my brother, because when you have a family member who's sick, you don't want to remember them the way they were like that. Like my brother was on steroids, he was swollen, he didn't look like himself, and he had been just like an athlete and a big, strong guy. And during the season I write about in Making It Home, it was like we could remember the version of my brother Morgan that played first base, that never missed a ground ball, that loved a fastball, that was healthy and vital, and that version will always be alive.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Okay, now there's a very important part of this book that you're very proud of as we have to wrap it up here, and that is someone who actually gave you a shout out for the book. So tell us a little about that.
The Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr. I just had this dream. What is the one name I want on the cover of my book about baseball and grief? And I knew it was Cal Ripken Jr. So I worked my connections. I Googled him.
Yes, girl.
And I literally Googled, How do you reach Cal Ripken Jr.? I got to his publicist, who decided I wasn't crazy, so that was a win. Passed the story along, and Cal said, I'm sorry about your brother. I love this story. He read the book, and he loved it.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
really
that
cool.
is so awesome.
Oh man, what an amazing thing. So, Teresa, tell us where everybody, I know it's sold out a lot of places, but tell us how people can get their hands on a copy of this book.
Any place you buy books, changing hands, it's great to support a local bookstore. They just sold out, but they'll have more in a couple days. Or you can go to Barnes & Noble, Amazon. I did the audiobook, and you can have that immediately.
Did you read your
Yes.
audiobook? I love
Did you?
it.
Oh, wow.
In
That's
your
really
own
awesome.
voice. That's
Yeah.
really,
So,
really cool. Awesome,
because
Teresa.
she's a
Thank you
big
so much.
radio voice, TV voice, and everything there. So
That's
awesome.
perfect, guys.
Thanks for joining us. And again,
Yeah.
it's making it home. You got to go pick it up.
Absolutely.